week, so halfway point. We're going to be doing our 100 press-ups for the Cancer Research UK Challenge. Let's make a start. Okay, so that's 30 done. As you can tell, not in London today. We're away in Morocco, which is why I took the chance to do these press-ups in front of this beautiful pond. And at this time of year, so we're in April, and leaving the UK, it was getting warm. In honesty, it was getting to about 15 to 20 degrees during the day at peak. And that was on a hot April day. But I've always been conscious of how my mood seems to change when I'm in hot climates compared to home. And I'm nowhere near as extreme as I think people with proper affective disorders are, so things like seasonal affective disorder. I wouldn't class myself as that, but I definitely feel like I get a lot of energy from warm weather, beautiful sunshine, and the climate being traditionally more warm than what you get traditionally in the UK, which is high frequency of cold, wet days, cloudy, that sort of stuff. And I think longer sunny days are great. And I've always thought, is that because of the weather, or is that because of all of the other variables that go along with that? So for me, whenever I'm exposed to warmer climate, it is on a holiday. I live in the UK, and so going somewhere warm is part of a holiday. So is it the warm weather itself or the warm climate itself that I enjoy, or is it all the other joys that come along with being on holiday? Don't know the answer to that one, but I actually think probably not only the holiday component, because if you think about the UK itself, you have 4 seasons, and I think one of the things that is good about the UK is you have 4 clearly defined seasons. Summer is probably feels shorter than winter, but definitely there's summer months when you can reliably walk around in shorts, t-shirts, enjoy the weather, be comfortable outside, and I'd say even when you're bordering on hot, I prefer that more than cold. So I even in the UK, when I'm not on holiday, I feel like I derive more joy from the hotter months than the colder months. And so I guess the question is, again, are there other biases that I'm not picking up on about that association, or is that true that I get more joy out of warmer climates, and in which case, what am I doing about that? Ooh. Okay, so we're up to 60. So I appreciate there are all sorts of other biases in that, in the sense that in the UK, because summer and the hot weather is shorter, you probably enjoy it more. You know, you take advantage of it. You tend to sit out in the sun, do more fun things when the weather is good. And also, throughout my youth and childhood, summer equals summer holidays, so it was definitely a fun and more relaxed period of time. So there could be all sorts of biases there. But I think there probably is an element of truth to that I prefer warmer climates and hotter weather than colder ones. It really does get me down when, especially when it's unexpected rain and unexpected cold climates, you know, bitterly cold. But I guess the question is this difference in mood, energy levels, quality of life so different for me between hot and cold that I feel like I need to tweak my environment so that I'm in a warm environment, i.e. should I move or should I spend a larger proportion of my time in a warmer climate? Now, the difficulty here is, you know, as a doctor, it's not, you don't have the sort of freedom to just keep working in the job you enjoy and live in another country, as you could do if you were in a more of a remote savvy job, like, I don't know, some sort of software engineer or something. And so, you know, it would be probably too big a step to make for me for that one reason alone, because, you know, I get a lot of pleasure from my job, and I appreciate that with the downsides of the climate in the UK come a lot of the upsides about the work environment, which many other countries that have a warm climate don't necessarily have. For example, I'm in Morocco at the moment. I don't know the details of the health system here, but from my knowledge of the sort of academic type of cardiology that I do, there isn't much of a presence or reputation of work coming out of Morocco. So that sort of cutting edge, interesting academic component of my job, I don't think I could get in this warmer climate. So I guess I don't really know what I can do with that insight. I do think there is some truth to it, and I think the difficulty is to test something like this, or to really see, okay, is this true? It would involve moving completely to a place where you can live your normal day-to-day life in a warmer climate, and then comparing it. But of course, there are all the other differences that go along with the place that you move to. So it's never black and white. It is something that if for whatever reason in the future, perhaps after I retire, perhaps because of circumstance, I end up having to move, that I'd love to, you know, to do, but I don't think the weather alone is probably enough for me to make a move based on it. Okay, it's 25. So 85, 15 to go. Anyway, I guess the simplest thing you could do, that I could do, is try and make the most of it when it's there in the UK. Try and maximise my exposure to that sort of environment, and so that means holidaying and if wherever the opportunity comes for conferences and placements or whatever work thing I can do in a warmer climate. And in medicine, you always have the chance to do a fellowship. So that's something I've been thinking about for the last few years, going and doing some sort of international fellowship. And the simplest option is to try and explore that within the UK, which is certainly a very good one from a work point of view. And I guess thinking about it from this climate perspective, what would be great is if you could get all the clinical experience, but in a climate that I think I'll get more joy out of. Like, I know that with the hot weather and the sunshine comes a lot of changes in society and culture. Early starts, late ends with a sort of break in the middle of the day, if you want to go to the extremes. But then also that sort of prevalence of outdoor sports, walking culture, clothes, everything sort of changes when you go from a warm default country to a cold default country. And so I guess, is it possible to get the best of both worlds? And that really sort of, I guess it's like a Venn diagram where you've got climate, good, work, good. What is that overlap of cities and institutions that I can go to? So that's probably something I should look up. If I'm saying this is something that's important, I think it probably is important enough for me to test. And so I'll have a look and see if that is possible. I'll take it from there. Okay, 15 done. Time to enjoy the day in beautiful Morocco. See you all tomorrow.